Warning! Hey, dumbass! This show is called The Offenders. So if you hear something that offends you, then we are doing our fucking job. So quit crying. Love the Offenders.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Offenders Podcast. I'm Kyle, and joining me as always from Macon is Evan.
Howdy, everybody.
And it's just us this week, so we're just going to be very intimate with you two. So I hope everybody out there's ready for this show. Are you ready for it, Evan?
I'm ready to see naked clown cam girls.
I'm going to pull back the curtains here. Before the show, I saw on Reddit there was this girl doing an Ask Me Anything, and the title was Ask Me Anything, I'm an ex-fundamentalist Christian, now a mime cam girl. And it was one of these ones like, what? But like when I looked in it, basically somebody posted a gif of her like miming an orgasm face or her O face, and it was a very over-exaggerated face, but it was pretty hilarious. I had to send it to Evan because there were boobies in it. I knew he'd be happy.
And he sent it to me, and I clicked on it, and I was staring so fucking intensely, so focused. And he was like, did you see all the faces she was making? I was like, she has faces? Oh, exactly. I see now. Because as I was telling my friends after we were off the air last week, I'm gonna have a moment of vulnerability right now. I have a learning disability, and it's called a penis. So while she was trying to teach us the wonders of mime face, all I could do was stare right at her boobies. And it's tough. It's tough living when you can't learn anything when there's titties around.
Well, there is a solution.
What's that?
We can castrate you.
Nope. I'm okay with learning like an idiot. I'm fine. Moving right along, I like coffee that is iced.
All right, so for this week, we've got a couple different stories that really don't have anything to do with each other, but they were all pretty fucked up and hilarious in their own way, so that's why we decided we'd just bring them all together in this hodgepodge episode.
Hell yeah, hodgepodge.
Potpourri, if you will. Potpourri of what the fuck on the internet.
Goulash.
So, the first thing is I wanted to talk about a friend of ours, Mr. Bizarre Doodoo Zoppity Bop Bop Bop, and the drug charges he currently faces.
That's actually Bill Cosby's son, for those of you out there who don't know.
Yeah, there's actually this guy whose name is Bizarre Doodoo Zoppity Bop Bop Bop. And he's currently got drug charges in I think it's like in Wisconsin or something. Who gives a shit about the drug charges? The story is to me, is his name. It's so ridiculous he's named after the sounds Bill Cosby makes while selling pudding pops.
Can you imagine the face of the fucking clerk when he turned in that name change form at the fucking office? He's like, I'm tired of being Jim Johnson. I want to be skibbity boop boop doo twice, zibbity boop pow, or whatever his fucking name is.
He's like, his name is like Jive Talk or something.
I had enough of your zippity doo twow.
Bizarre doo doo zoppity bop bop bow. Yeah, no. I mean, like when I have to sing it, I have to say his name like I'm some like jazz singer and about to bust out into like playing the trombone or something. I don't know. I can't help it.
Yes.
And he doesn't look like a Bizarre doo doo zoppity bop 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 either. I'll tell you that.
The one picture I saw of him a long time ago, he looked like Jesus.
Yeah, he still kind of has a Jesus face.
Yep.
But, seeing this kind of made me and Evan think about all the crazy names that I think we've heard from our years of working in, customer service-based industries.
Yes.
Evan, why don't you share some of those with us that you have?
I'm going to start with a couple that I think are great, but I'm going to save my favorite one for the last. I had Charcoal, that's one name. Princess Pinky.
Was Princess her first name and Pinky her last?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Superman the Aquarian.
Was V his middle name?
Yes, because the only way that these names can come up in the system that I was using was if it was on their driver's license. So this is their real fucking name.
Wow.
One I just saw this past week was Generico, which I thought was a little unimaginative. But my favorite so far of all the ones I ever saw was on a report that comes back when you have an accident, which again pulls directly from your fucking driving record. And the name was Lil Booty Ho. That's her fucking real name, Lil Booty Ho. Lilbootyho.
I wonder if she was Chinese.
Could be.
And her last... And like maybe, and like her family didn't know, like all these names, these words came together, and they just made this really terrible thing. Little boy, ho, get your ass over here!
It could be, man. Let's hope not, though. Let's hope it's just like some terrible exotic dancer.
Oh man, yeah. Some of the ones I remember seeing were I had Adolf Hitler.
That's like a fucking fascist DJ. What's up, y'all? I'm Adolf Hitler. Dropping the hits.
Or it's a fascist with like a lisp.
Hitler.
Yeah. But I had Jesus Lobos, which basically is Jesus Wolves.
Yes.
Then we had I had one I just saw today actually, and it was La Genius Wisdom Williams.
Yes.
And it's L-E' genius.
Because he's French.
Trust me, he's not French looking at the picture, but maybe his parents like to think he's French.
They're cultured, worldly people.
Perhaps. But the one I had that I remember the most, and I liked the most, was Blade McGunn. Now, I know that wasn't his real name, but he had it legally transferred into that. Because what had happened was he had to fill out paperwork. And he kept filling it out, Blade McGunn. And we kept getting it back telling us it was wrong. And we figured out eventually the reason it was wrong was because that was not the name that was actually on the title of a vehicle. Mm-hmm. So eventually, he called back in and he talked to another girl. And she set him straight. She was like, "Oh, I'm sorry. It looks like you're signing it with this name, but that's not the name on the title. It's the name, this name." He's like, "Oh, that's right. I bought the car before I changed my name for my job." And just being like the nice person, you had to keep conversation going. She just asked, "Oh, really? Well, what's your job?" He's like, "I'm an adult entertainer." She's like, "Oh." And so he told her that she was so helpful for getting everything taken care of for him that he gave her a free pass to his website for like 30 days or something. I remember her just looking at us saying, "And I'll check that out, and I'll tell you what, that was a mouthful."
That's such a terrible euphemism. I mean, it's appropriate for what it's created for, but an adult entertainer makes me think of like fucking, what's his name, like Tom Jones, or fucking, like Tony, what's his name? Lounge singers, because they entertain adults,
Yeah. Evan, I mean people who fuck on camera, okay?
Do they have mime faces on?
She never said if he did or didn't, but I think that would be a point that she would have made to put in there if he did.
That's also could be mistaken for somebody who was an extra on a Wesley Snipes film.
What?
That's a pretty doodly name. Like, I could see him being like the last boss in like some big drug bust, and Wesley Snipes is like, "Always bet on black, baby." And then he's just like, "You don't want to fight the blade," or some fucking stupid catchphrase, and then they just have this awesome fight, and then one of them gets their arms chopped off, not Wesley Snipes, and then that's the end of the movie, and then there's another good catchphrase. Because that's the key ingredients to any good action film, is like...
Well, I half expected him to be some kind of, like, UFC personality or some kind of fighting type person to have a name like that, but when she finally spoke with him, she was like, "Oh." She was like, "And trust me, he ain't the manliest man." It's like, oh, that type of adult entertainment.
So, Kyle, how long did you become a member of this site for off that 30-day free trial?
30 days. I'm not... Why do you pay money for porn, Evan? It's the fucking internet. The moment you decide to pay money for porn, you have basically given up on the internet, and I'll never give up on the internet.
That's right. Fuck paying for porn. That's something that our parents did. Our fathers' fathers paid for porn, but no longer.
Okay, I have a question now I want to ask. I want to tell you right now. I'm going to take the question that you asked me and not allow you to ask it. I have another question I want to ask at the end of the show now.
Shit! But that was such a good question.
You can ask that. We can ask that question later. I got another question I think will be more interesting.
Okay.
But we got a couple more stories before that. So, keeping along the lines of craziness, there was a recent incident that happened at a church. I don't know if you heard about this incident, Evan. It happened in Edmond, Oklahoma, and there was a young woman who had the power of Christ inside of her. And she was playing the hell out of a tambourine. She was beating that fucking tambourine like it was a redheaded stepchild. She beat it so much that a cop had to tase her to get the church service back in order.
Maybe she was just shaking it off time and he wanted to help her find rhythm.
Bitch, the tambourine should stop. And she's still beating the hell out of that tambourine. And he's just like, tap, tap. Sit your ass down. But yeah, I like to think that maybe she did. Maybe she got a little whiff of the Holy Spirit.
That could be. And that brings up a bigger question that I personally want to ask.
What's that?
Kids these days, and in the past have had their WWJD bracelets, their shirts. My question, or my abbreviation, would be WTFWJ. Where the fuck was Jesus? This lady was obviously doing the good work, spreading the good word, and Jesus is just like, well, I don't got time for you to not get tased because you're doing my job for me, so I'm just gonna be hanging out in fucking White Sands, New Mexico on a lawn chair drinking a margarita. Can't be bothered by the people who are following me for their whole fucking life. So what the fuck was Jesus doing? He was hanging out in White Sands, fucking New Mexico, that day.
Well, I mean, maybe Jesus hates the tambourine.
It could be.
Maybe he was just sitting there and he's like, God, that fucking bitch with that tambourine again? Fucking Christ, somebody do something about it. And the cop was like, I got your back, Jesus. Pap, pap.
And then his dad was like, hey, don't take my name in vain. And he's like, shut up, Dad. I'm not you. I live my own life.
Dad, don't try to put your rules on me anymore.
Where were you when I was on the cross, you jerk? I needed you that day and you weren't there.
Dad, you kicked me out once and sent me down here with these assholes. They killed me. I came home. You kicked my ass out again. Fuck you, Dad. I'm done with you.
I spent 3 days in hell because of you.
I learned it by watching you, Dad.
Oh, man. There goes half of our viewers right now. Listeners.
Well, we've only got one anyways. So I guess, what, the top half or the bottom half that left?
I don't know. It'll probably be easier if it was the top half.
Truthfully, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But no, the thing with this woman, though, is that the officer that was, or one of the officers involved said that she was not filled with the Holy Spirit. Now, I don't know where he gets off claiming this. I don't know if he's some fucking expert who's possessed with the Holy Spirit or not. They don't go into his qualifications. But he says that she was not being very Christianly, and this is why the folks decided to get her out as soon as possible. And she was found to have prescription pain medication in her possession, but they have not said yet whether she was on it at the time.
Excuse me. In the place of God? She carried prescription medication.
Psh, there's fucking bottles of booze in churches, dude. What are you talking about?
That's true.
Jesus is all about getting crunked up.
Crunked up. Wow. So that's what the blood of Jesus is. I see. This whole time I thought it was grape juice.
And it's Jaeger bombs.
No wonder people go to church all the time. Lushes.
Hell yeah. But yeah, so basically, this woman, I got a little bit too much into church. They tased the shit out of her. They allowed to teach her to play the tambourine. Maybe next time she should play the drums instead.
Man. Did you ever see that Street Fighter 2 video where they overdubbed Street Fighter over faith healings?
Yes.
That's what I always imagine the shit's like. Like at the Pentecostal places where they're like handling snakes and shit. They're just all like, in their minds, they're just like, I can't believe I'm here. What is this bullshit? And he's just like, man, I love Street Fighter. And he's like, Hadouken. And then everybody's like, oh, Jesus Christ. And they fall over.
I mean, it probably is a lot like that. You know?
We should be faith healers. Because we could do some awesome Kamehameha charge-up moves before we faith healed people.
Well, you know, the way that a lot of that works is that they, when they put their hand on somebody's head and they push them back really hard, what they're actually doing is they're compressing their brain stem, and it causes them to lose motor control, and that's why they shake and fall over.
I actually did know that, but thank you for educating our listeners.
Yeah. So I think I could do that to somebody, truthfully. So if anybody wants me to faith heal them, I'll be more than happy to crush your brainstem.
We should start a church that's like, it could appeal to the demographic of people that are like super tough, like street thugs and shit. And it could be like, this is the real fucking shit. You come into church and you gonna get healed like you get healed in the streets. And then they're going to, like, walk up and we'll just punch them right in the fucking face. Be like, power of Christ propels you, motherfucker. They'll be like, oh, shit, my nose. That's the blood of Jesus, son.
Just knock the devil right out your ass.
That's right. That blood's coming out the color of the devil's skin. Red. You going to be dead unless you get healed again.
Are you beating them up or fapping?
That was beating them in a very rapid fire style. I don't think you could fap and faith heal people, but if there are any conservative Christian women out there who would like me to try, I would be happy to find out.
I'm sure that they are more than happy to...
That's a whole demographic I never thought about going after. Conservative Christian women. Shit.
Now, here's the thing, though. Would you go after them to, like, convert them away? Or would you just go after them because you just assume that because they've got, like, all this pent-up sexual tension and desire?
Well, I mean, I already kind of look like Jesus anyway, so I might as well use it to my advantage. I mean, I'm a nice guy. I just want to get laid by somebody who doesn't have 18,000 diseases and a kid, you know? Help me out here. I'm a nice guy.
Well, I mean, I'm sure Jesus, you know, he tapped it. I mean, truthfully, think about it like this. You're the son of God, right?
Okay.
And there's a lot of hot girls around. You're going to drop that tidbit. Like, hey, my name's Jesus Christ. You might have heard of me. I'm the son of God. They're like, oh, snap, that's you? That motherfucker's my jam. And next thing you know, bitch is on your dick.
You know what? I'm going to have to disagree with you on that because I am a fan of mixed martial arts. And I have seen a t-shirt that specifically says Jesus didn't tap. Which I think is in poor taste because he couldn't tap because his hands were nailed to the cross. But for some reason, whoever made that fucking t-shirt thought that would be a good idea.
Maybe that was actually part of the joke, though. Maybe they knew.
I'm pretty sure they didn't. Those dudes are, like, super serious. Because they're just like, every time they win, they're like, I'd like to thank Jesus Christ. And it's like, well, what about the other guy? You just beat him up. Where's all the fucking turning the other cheek bullshit?
Yeah. They should actually be like, I'd like to thank steroids for getting me as far as you have. My dick is the size of a fucking eraser on a pencil, but you know what? I'm just fucking jacked! No.
You know, that all I can do is say, hey, it worked for Tim Lambesis. As I lay dying.
Whatever happened with him? I know we talked about him before killing his wife, or trying to kill his wife.
Same thing that happens with all celebrities. It just gets drawn out, and eventually they're just going to be like, this is bullshit, and then nothing will happen. He might spend a year in jail, if anything.
Oh, well.
Dude, I'm sorry. I got to ask this question. I always wonder this. Okay, let's say, all right, Kyle, imagine for a moment, I know that this is different than what you do every day, but imagine that you're God, okay? Imagine that you are God for a minute. You got it? You in the right mindset?
I'm in the right mindset.
Okay. All right, it's Thanksgiving Day. It's time for good old-fashioned clean hate. Georgia Tech versus Georgia, whatever the fuck day it's on, I don't remember.
Yeah.
They're both praying to you. Everything is on the line. A heated rivalry that goes back decades. Both of them devout followers of your faith, living their lives in your shadow. Which one do you afford the win to, and why?
Oh, that's a good question.
Yes.
Now, is this what God would do or what I as God would do?
Well, you are God, so who's to say what is different?
All right, then. If I was God, we got to backtrack because there's a lot of stuff that's going to change if I was God when it comes to professional or even collegiate sports, okay?
Let's just say that you just inherited the office of God. God's like, I'm retiring, Kyle. It's your turn. And you just get thrown in the office. First order of business. Georgia versus Georgia Tech. What's your idea?
I'd probably ignore them because that doesn't seem like it's something important to me. It almost seems like you're pandering. Like, oh my God, I shouldn't have got fucking wasted last night and I should have trained better. Maybe if I pray to God, he'll let me win. So
that's an amazingly thoughtful answer.
Yeah. Now, truthfully, I have a very unique opinion on sports in general.
Okay.
So, maybe we'll divert a bit. We'll do the other story another time, but I don't know if you've seen about this, but recently in Major League Baseball, a lot of players have been put on suspension for having used performance-enhancing drugs. Okay?
Yep, I've heard.
Now, Alex Rodriguez, or A-Rod as he's also named, he's debating it. Okay, now he has claimed to have used them before, but in this incident, there's this doctor that they're claiming he worked with these other people, he says he's not a part of that. And he's threatening to sue the MLB and all this bullshit. Okay, claiming that, like, you know, they're ruining his life. I'm sorry that you have a multi-billion-dollar contract and, like, they're going to tell you to sit out for a season and that's going to ruin your life. I don't know what the fuck you do with all the money you make.
My life.
But this is my opinion on professional sports. I want them to use performance-enhancing drugs. I don't care what sport it is, from fucking football down to, like, golf. If you want to be a professional athlete, I want you to be so fucking jacked up on roids and everything else that you are a mutant freak that children see you in the street and they shriek in horror. Children don't want to be you because to be an athlete, it means that you've given up your life to become a monster because you couldn't do anything else because you're too fucking stupid to have a job. That's what I want it to be like. I want, like, do you remember that old Sega game, like Mutant League Football?
That's exactly what I was just fucking thinking about.
That's what I want. I want Mutant League Football. Mutant League Baseball,
man.
Mutant League everything. I would be into sports if that was the case. If there's a bunch of fucking monsters out in the field just murdering each other for my entertainment, I'd be totally down with that.
Dude, no shit. I seriously almost had my own screen-pressed Deathskins Razor jersey. I fucking loved that game.
Yeah, that game was fucking amazing. But that's what I want. Like, if you once the basically, you know, right now people say, like, people who can't do, they educate because they can't get other jobs. That's not what it should be. I want people who can't do become professional athletes, and as soon as you sign up, they just fill your body with like roids and other chemicals, and they just send you out in the field to be monsters.
That would actually probably make them a whole lot more money and increase viewership. I'm just saying.
Fuck yeah. Oh yeah, man. I would watch that. You know, like, I mean, because, you know, people can't say they don't want violence because they do want violence. If they didn't want violence, then there wouldn't be violent TV shows and violent movies and video games.
But whoa. Let's think about some of the things that might happen. If you did that, think about how much further a home run ball is going to go. So how much bigger the stadium's going to have to be.
Well, first off, I wouldn't want these mutant freaks on the same continent as I would. We'd just have to take over Australia.
Why Australia?
Why not?
Okay.
I mean, we could take over some other large place like Greenland or fucking, you know, Madagascar, I guess. You know, a place where who cares what's going on there. But I don't want them on my continent. These people have given up their lives to be entertainment for me, and they're so roided out and monstrous, I don't want them near me. I don't know what they may do. So I want them as far away as possible. But plus, I want them to be so dangerous that, like, you'd be terrified to know that they were within the same state as you and your family. Dude. So that's why you just moving out to Australia. It's just, I mean, it was founded for, you know, criminals anyways.
Yeah. No extradition treaties.
Oh, hell yeah. So send them out there and just turn, like, each, you know, part of the continent becomes like either a football stadium or like a baseball stadium or something like that. And you just have people go out there and just, like, Mutant League football it.
That would be
Like,
so awesome.
throwing bombs and shit like that.
Killing
Just
the
blowing each other.
ref.
Oh, yeah. I mean, like, refs would have to have, like, fucking Gundam suits, because you'd have to be safe.
And then they would interview the ref that survived, and they'd be like, so how did you make it through? And he'd be like, fnaf, 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 rough rip. Okay, so you touched on something, and I got to bring it back. Madagascar.
Okay.
I am Madagascar gets more promotion than an electric car. Yes! That one was difficult.
That one was bad.
That's
You
right,
should-
Michael Jackson bad.
You should feel bad about that one, too.
I feel like a BAMF, a badass motherfucker.
Yeah, but I'm telling you, man, sports, that's what I want. Like, even just imagine, like, what is the most boring sport to you?
To me,
Yeah.
what's that shit that old people play on ships?
Shuffleboard.
Either that or golf.
Okay. Well, let's go with golf, because golf actually has professional league, the
Okay.
PGA.
All right.
Imagine if these guys were so ripped and so just mutated that, like, they didn't just go out there and hit, like, normal golf balls. Like, they had to, like, rip trees out of the ground, and they had to hit boulders, and they had to, like, land them into, like, each other's faces. And it was like this combat sport. I mean, that would be so amazing. I'd love it.
I kind of want to play golf now if that happens.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you have to get roided out.
Never mind.
Yeah, they would. I mean, they would just jack you up on so much stuff. It would be like the first day would just be like them just bombarding your whole body with roids and radiation, hoping for the best.
You know what? Fuck that. This is what I would do. You know those crazy-ass bodybuilders that lift like 8,000 pounds for Jesus? I would fucking pray to Bishamonten, the goddamn Japanese god of war, until he magically filled me with fucking the energy of the gods, and I just became this gigantic Oni. And, like, I would just be the fucking best, and I'd be like, I don't need roids, because I have pure energy. And then I would just, like, rip some roid dude's head off, and then I would hit it with some other roid dude's body whose head I also ripped off, and they'd just be like, whoa.
I would just use power thirst.
Why didn't I think of that? Shit.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, totally. I used to be down on some power thirst. All right. So, Evan, I know I jacked the question from you this week,
It's okay.
but something we talked about made me think about it.
Okay.
Okay. So, I don't think we've never denied that as two single men, we
Okay.
watch pornography.
Absolutely.
Can you remember the first porno you ever watched?
Do you mean, like, does it have to be a film, or can we go with books? Or the first time I ever jerked off? Because, I mean, there's so many layers in this question.
No. Just the first film. We'll go with film.
Does softcore count?
Sure.
Emmanuel.
Okay. So how did you come about this?
That's a good pun.
Yeah.
It's
you.
It's called Cinemax, but the hip kids
Skinemax?
called it Skinemax. Yeah.
Did you actually have it, or did you watch the jumbled channels, Evan?
No, I actually watched it because I was used to staying up super late because my dad was working at Pizza Hut at the time, and he would bring me home a deep dish pizza, like a little personal pan pizza, when he got off work, because I would be watching Headbangers Ball. Mm-hmm. Well, after Headbangers Ball was over, I would usually just be like, man, that was awesome. Well, one day, there was nothing else on TV, so I was going through the pay channels, and I see this shit, and I just remember, I don't remember exactly which one it was, but it involved them being outside in the rain, and the lady was totally full frontal naked, and I was just like, this is amazing. Because before that, I had only seen pictures, like in Playboys and stuff, not full.
Yeah.
You know, the side of an actual boob bouncing up and down was just like the magic of the gods to me.
Wow, they really move.
They move. And she has hair down there. That's amazing. It's blowing in the wind. She must be European. Yeah, it was either Emmanuel or Emmanuel 2 was the first one that I saw that was softcore. I think the first hardcore one, I don't even remember the name of it, but my dad had a shit ton of VHS tapes, and I just remember stealing some of them from his room and studying intently.
Studying intently. See, that's where I saw my first one was my dad had VHS tapes. Mm-hmm. And as a kid, I was nosy. And so, like, I remember going through, like, I think I was actually looking for something in my parents' closet. Mm-hmm. And I see this bag. And I'm thinking, oh, shit, Christmas presents. I'm going to find out what the fuck I'm about to get.
That's totally snap. A kid thing to think,
yeah, like, oh snap, it's November, I'm about to find out what I'm getting for Christmas. This is going to be awesome. I open it up, it's a bunch of VHS tapes. No labels or anything. Okay, I don't know what these are. Let me put one in. So I go and put one in. I was like, oh shit, porno. First porno I ever saw was actually Debbie Does Dallas.
Nice.
Classic pornography. There was another one that was in there. I don't really remember. It was some weird cowboy thing, but I always remember that Debbie Does Dallas was the first porno I actually saw, and it was because my dad had it hidden in his closet, and I found it. At some point, though, I think my parents realized I'd found it, and my mom and my dad throw it away, but they never confronted me about it.
I think, like, the first one I ever saw that was, like, full-on porno was Deep Throat, now that I remember it. Deep Throat was probably classic. It is. It's amazing.
I mean, one day we may have to have a porno special and get Mr. Jeremy Brown on here to discuss the deep, horrendous history of pornography.
That would be awesome.
It'd be scary, actually. The level of knowledge this man has on porno is truly terrifying to me.
Also, the amount of knowledge he has on religion is equally terrifying.
Do you think there's a correlation between those two?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
So the more you know about religion, the more you expect somebody to know about porno?
Yeah, I would say so.
Well,
I know a lot about religion, that's all I'm saying.
That does go back to that girl I was talking about at the beginning who used to be the ex-fundamentalist Christian who's now a miming cam girl who does, I think one of her, she said one of her specialties was fucking a chair or something ridiculous.
Yep. I've seen it.
Let's see, what does she say? She says she does the infamous chair fuck show where she dresses up a chair in a Star Trek uniform and a hat and does horrible things to him. Mm-hmm. I like how she puts a gender on the chair.
It's very charitable of her.
I mean, do you think all chairs are male or just the ones that she uses?
I think it depends on the color and the shape.
I could see that. Well, what would like a female chair look like?
A vulva-esque. A beanbag, maybe?
A beanbag chairs are female. I could see that.
Well, I don't know. It kind of looks like testicles, too. So that's it depends on the color and the shape, I guess.
Ooh, yeah. You don't want to just dive first into a testicle bag.
No, you don't. The seed bag is off limits.
Indeed.
And like, I was just thinking, how confusing would it be to have sex with a mime woman? It's like, is she really enjoying it? She's not making any noise. Is she just really good at her craft?
Well, you can look at it like this. She can't tell you no.
Wow. What's her address?
Oh, man. I felt terrible for going there.
No, you don't.
Kidding, I don't.
I knew it. The most foul villain in all of time.
It really takes a lot for me to make me feel bad about something. A whole lot.
But see, one day you're going to get to where I am, where you think something and you immediately feel bad, but you still think it in the first place, and you're like, son of a bitch.
I doubt it. Oh, I mean, I always think things terrible, but I don't feel bad for thinking them.
Like I do, man.
So, like, last night, kind of going off on a tangent, but last night, I got invited to go out with some of the senior graduate students in my program. And part of the reason we got invited out was because me and another friend, we are second-year students. So because we're second-year students, it's kind of like, hey, you guys are going to stick around and get your degree. We'll invite you out with our little group. You're not a bunch of fuck-ups like some of these other people. So just come on out. So we did. And it was going to drinks and food. Now, what I didn't know was that the coordinator for the program, the graduate program, she actually comes. So it's actually a professor comes too. And she buys all the food and drinks for everybody who's there.
Oh, man, that's awesome.
Yeah, she does it every Friday at the same place. So she was like, you got to come back. So, like, at first, people start talking about things, and I'm really holding back with what I'm going to say. But I get a couple drinks in me, and I'm just like, whatever. And she was just like, oh, man, I really wish you would have talked up more so I got to know you more last semester. She's like, because I like how you just say what you're thinking. It's like, man, if you only knew half the shit I think I don't say.
I know it, man. Most of my shit, like, I don't really think stuff that's really all that bad, but I always think witty comebacks to people that I shouldn't say them to. Like somebody who says something really sad, I'll think of a really good joke and I'll be like, God, I'm a fucking asshole. I should never make a joke at a funeral. Or like, if a boss says something to me that's outlandishly stupid, I can think of 15 things to say, and there's like a little voice in the back of my brain that's saying, say that fucking joke, you know it's funny, everybody else will think it's funny too. And then I'm just like, I can't fucking say it because I'll get fired.
You got to see, this is your problem. You've got to turn it into a game. So the moment you think of that, and you get that witty comeback, the next step is to think of, how can I say this, and them not realize that I'm fucking with them. That's the next step of the evolution, Evan Jones. I challenge you to evolve to that level.
I can do that every once in a while. Shane is a master of that technique, but most of my stuff is so subtle that not even the people who would be supposed to get it would get it, because I think way too subtle sometimes. Yeah.
See, I do that a lot sometimes when I'm like, oh, I shouldn't say this, but I could say it in this way, and they really won't realize it, and it'll be okay. So,
I think everything that you have ever said to me has just been an insult. Now that I know that,
well, you're not too far from the truth.
I knew it. You're such a jerk. You say I'm a piece of shit. You're a piece of shit.
I never denied it though.
That's true.
Actually, I'm an asshole. If it wasn't for assholes like me, there wouldn't be shit like you, Evan. Remember that.
Hey, man, take it easy. I'm a human and I need to be loved, just like everybody else does. And don't forget, man, people are human. Humans are people.
They are. That was a valuable lesson that we learned last week, is that humans are people.
That came straight out of your subconscious, too, because, boy, you fucked that joke up. And then wisdom came out of it. I wish when I made mistakes, they were awesome and wise.
Yep. Even my worst mistakes, my stupidest mistakes, still have wisdom come from them.
Like what? Give me another one right now.
You're
a liar too.
I think that's about the end of the show.
I invented apple juice. I invented apple juice, and I do backflips 7 times a day.
Only 7?
Yes, I have to stay humble.
Yeah, I think that's a good time to end the show, though. So, I don't want to blow everybody's mind with all these great things I come up with from my errors. You know, as we did discuss earlier, I'm like God. So,
oh man, before we leave, I got to say one more thing. Did you see that thing about the waiter who was quoting Doctor Who?
I did.
That's fucking amazing.
Humor in it because I've never watched Doctor Who, but I thought it was pretty cool.
We should do something like that where we just find a show and we just throw in jokes, and the people who figure it out, they get some kind of prize. Maybe it's a sticker or something like that.
How about Debbie Does Dallas?
I'm going to leave that one up to you because maybe that's my homework. I need to go see that. Fuck, I forgot to look up goth people on fucking Wikipedia. Shit.
0 fail.
I'm a Luther. Get it, Luther?
All right. Well, I think that's going to do it for this week, though. So if you have any questions you want to send to us for us to ask, or any stories you want us to discuss, you can send them to theoffenderspodcast@gmail.com. If you have any crazy names that you've ever seen for different people, or you've at your job or just in life in general, send those too, so we can have some more crazy names we can talk about at a later date. Okay.
Or if you ever wondered where the fuck Jesus was when something happened to somebody who likes Jesus, send that in and we'll tell you exactly what happened to him.
That is another very good one, because there's a lot of points where I'm pretty sure people who are all for Jesus and bad shit happens wonder, where the fuck was Jesus when this happened?
And I'll tell you exactly where he was, because I got, this likeness. That's all I'm going to say.
Solid. Well, until next time, I'm Kyle.
I'm Evan.
This is The Offenders. Y'all have a good one.
Peace.